This is Spotlight, a biographical series that features people who've attained significant success in their chosen fields. Previously on Spotlight.
But anybody who would be entertained by a television program can also be equally entertained by watching a live performance. So there's no class.
Welcome to this second part of our conversation with thespian, singer, and talent search Judge Ian Bogwa, or simply Judge Ian, as he's popularly known. Today, we continue to talk about the art, but towards the end of the show, we'll talk a little politics. What's your view of local productions that you see on our television screens generally?
We have a long way to go. It's a beginning. Yes. But we have a long way to go before we get to the level that we should be. There are some which are really, really entertaining and really good quality. But the majority, mediocre.
But do you not think that local creatives sometimes rush to do productions?
Lack of training.
So then what is it that we need? Is it
we
institutions?
Need training. No.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, well, we need institutions.
What form should this training that you're talking about?
We need institutions that will train scriptwriters, actors, directors. Yes.
And how
properly?
How in your view should this be made to happen? How should this come about?
It should be made to happen by doing it practically. Because most of these universities that teach all these things, they do it in theory. So you're learning lighting in theory. You're learning costume and makeup in theory. That does not help you.
But do you feel challenged in that regard as one who's been in this business for quite a while, as probably one who should be leading from the front with regard to these kind of things? Training, we have done that. When I was at Phoenix, we used to have very many university students, final year students from the colleges that do theatre arts. They used to come there on attachment. Yes. And through that, they were able to have hands-on training. Yes. Well, now that you mentioned Phoenix, let's talk about just that. You succeeded James Falkland.
Yes.
At Phoenix, and I remember watching plays at Phoenix and getting really entertained. What's the story about Phoenix right now?
Well, I really don't know about Phoenix much now because I haven't been there in a while. But the few times I've been there, audiences have been very thin.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there have been very many empty seats.
Why is that the case?
Difficult to tell.
When did you leave Phoenix?
There are many things.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one is traffic. There are a number of people who tell me...
Really, Ian? Traffic?
Traffic. There are many people who live on the outskirts of Nairobi. And they tell me, we would love to go to the theatre. But to be in the theatre in good time, I'd have to be in town by something like 4. Traffic is very, very important when it comes to people coming to the theatre. The
Right.
people who used to come.
What else?
Then there is, a few have mentioned security, and then the quality of the productions.
I was coming to that. The quality of productions.
Yes.
What about the quality of production?
It has gone down. What has happened is I've been on stage and I've done 2 plays and they've been fairly successful. So now I feel good enough to direct. I'm not good enough after being on stage just doing 2 productions for me to now start directing.
Shouldn't there be a sieve sort of
But
kind of?
Since there's nobody else doing it, I will step in and direct. There's no sieve.
So
as long as I'm able to convince a few people
we will come together and we'll put on a production.
So what does that mean? Does that mean you give up? You've given up?
Given up in what?
On
quality.
On
Absolutely
quality?
Not. Absolutely
and
not.
On such an institution as Phoenix that we knew for many years was.
But I no longer. Yes, I no longer have anything to do with Phoenix.
Right.
So I cannot. I cannot speak for Phoenix.
Right.
No.
Right. Okay. Let's come back to quality, and let's talk about some of the people that have left our theater scene and made it really, really big out there. Among them are Lupita Nyong'o, who've been on Phoenix theater stage in the past. What do you think this tells the people out there, the world out there, about the talent that we have here in Kenya?
You know, I'm really amused when people talk about Lupita.
Right.
She didn't leave Phoenix and go straight to Hollywood and get an Oscar. She has been studying theater out there for many, 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 many years. Lupita did not just happen. Fame did not just happen for her. She has struggled. She's been through a lot of training.
And this is where you come back to the glamour and the end product that our youth
people just, every time they talk about Lupita, they say she started at Phoenix and then now she's at Hollywood and she's got an Oscar. They don't talk about the journey.
The journey and the struggle.
Yes.
And the tears.
She was at Phoenix when she was 16. She's got her Oscar when she's 30. How many years are those between?
It's a whole 14 years.
Yes. What has she been doing all that time?
Has
she been rejected in other roles? Of course she has. But she just kept on. Determination.
So this is where tenacity comes in, and this is what you're telling the listener out there, because you talked about rejection.
Yes.
That some of the people we see as having succeeded have been rejected in the past.
Of course, I've been to numerous auditions, and I've been rejected.
But doesn't mean you give up.
It does not mean I give up.
It means you improve.
Every audition I will be called for, I will go for. Because each audition is different and I will learn something. I don't get the part, I will ask, okay, is it that I did something wrong or whatever? And I'll be told. So each time you get to audition, every time you have an opportunity to go for auditions, go for it. Because that's the only way you're going to learn. You go for one audition, you're not called, and you'd say, forget it. No, that's not the way to go about it. Do not give up.
And this is a reflection of life in general.
One after another, after another, after another.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Let's turn to a little remembered ceremony around, was it 2006, coming towards 2007. Then candidate Raila Odinga was preparing to make the second stab at the presidency, and there is this ceremony at I think it was at KICC.
Yes.
And who do we see on stage? Ian Bogwa comes to introduce him. To introduce Raila Odinga
and his family. Yes.
Right. How did that happen?
Well, his PR team needed somebody eloquent, somebody who's got stage presence, and somebody who's known to come and do that. And Anyang Nyong'o recommended me to them. So they called me and asked me if I would do it. And I did it.
So it's not because you're known to the Odingas personally?
No.
So for you, this was what, just a job?
It was a job. Yes.
So you did not look at the political implications?
Absolutely not. What was I doing there? I was just reading out what I had been given. It was a script. It was a role I had been assigned to do, which I did.
So that did not amount to an endorsement?
No.
For you, it did not amount to an endorsement of the ticket?
No. I didn't vote for him.
And I wasn't going to vote for him.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
Because you understand our nature of politics is such that then you are associated with the ticket, with the candidacy of the...
You see, for me, I really don't care what other people think. I couldn't care less what people think.
And why not?
What
You're
for?
part of society,
Oh,
aren't you?
no. Ian, care what other people think? No. I have discovered that is the secret to happiness. Not caring what people think about you. You want to do something, do it. What they think, shout yow. If that's what gets them to sleep at night, hey, that's good. Absolutely okay with me.
And I guess that's vintage Ian Bogwa.
That is me. I don't care what people think about me.
Absolutely. You're listening to Spotlight. Our guest today is thespian, singer, and talent search Judge Ian Bogwa, or simply Judge Ian, as is popularly known. You know, our politics, let's turn to the ethnicity part of it.
Okay.
You are Kikuyu.
I'm Kenyan.
Yes, but you are undeniably Kikuyu.
If you say so, but I've never called myself a Kikuyu.
What does it
Never.
say on your ID?
I am Kenyan. Your ID has Kikuyu on it. Show me your ID that says you're Kikuyu. Let's see that ID. Does it have where it says Kikuyu?
It says place of birth, doesn't it?
I could be born anywhere.
You're born in Thika.
Okay. Lupita was born in Mexico. What is she? Come on. Tell me.
So it doesn't bother you because our politics, the ethnic nature of our politics is that people are supposed to naturally fall in line. If we have a Kikuyu candidate, then all the Kikuyus, or at least prominent Kikuyus like yourself, are supposed to fall in line. And
absolutely not. I do. That's something I don't subscribe to. Absolutely not. I will not look at your ethnicity. I will look at what you can offer.
So, what's your view of our politics?
Sadly, it is tribal. It is very tribalistic, very, very tribalistic, and very corrupt.
Recently, there have been efforts from the presidency through the EACC and Parliament. The most recent one was...
Let's see how far that will go. PR. That is PR.
Is that what you think it is?
I won't get that far. Somehow along the way, it will dwindle off. Yes. It's not the first time there's been a fight against corruption. And it certainly will not be the last time. But if you are going to fight corruption, you must disassociate yourself with people who are corrupt. And sadly, that cannot happen.
An accusation has been made of us as a people, as Kenyans, that we are, by our very nature, corrupt.
Of course
and
we are.
We should not complain so
are.
much about corruption because we only do so because we do not have the opportunity.
Of course we are corrupt. We've got corrupted minds. We vote in people who have money. We don't care how they get this money, but we're just thinking about how we're going to get that money. We don't think about morals. We don't question, where does this person who seems to have so much money to throw away, where is he getting this money from? Those are our role models.
So
sad.
So then, what are you saying in effect that then our complaints about corruption are not justified?
They are not justified. We're corrupt. Why are we complaining that these people are stealing when we are the ones who put them there? Every election we're putting them back there and they do nothing, but we're still complaining. What's the point? Why have we put them there?
Mm-hmm.
We make our bed, we lie in it.
So we have absolutely no reason to complain.
We have no moral right, no moral justice to complain.
Would you run for political office?
Absolutely not. Never.
Is it because of what you just described, our politics as corrupt and all that?
Yes.
Or is it...
We have good people who are out. When they're out there, they are good. Once they get into politics and parliament, they change. They change.
Mm-hmm. So you...
Because they are overwhelmed.
By the bad
By
people.
the bad.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Majority of who
The
we elect.
majority.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Let's, as we come towards the end, let's talk about what I had spoken about earlier while introducing you. Said you are well known as a judge, as a thespian. Let's talk about Judge Ian. Do you find that most people identify you with that than anything else?
Yes.
Does
a lot of people do.
And what's your reaction to that?
I'm amused. I am very amused. I'm very amused at this giant, this larger-than-life character Judge Ian has become. Yes.
Non-existent, you say, because...
He's non-existent. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Why do you suppose that is the case? Why do you suppose people view you that way?
I don't know. It's just my opinion. Everything I do as Judge Ian is just simply my opinion. The opinion of one person. Why should that have so much weight? If I tell you you can't sing, why is that so important? If others tell you that you're okay, why should you listen to me?
Do you think we have a problem as a society dealing with honesty and bare facts?
Well,
do you suppose that's
we're too used to sugarcoating?
Right.
Yes. We do not like to express ourselves. We think it's wrong to tell somebody off, to give them your honest opinion. Yes. It is wrong to tell somebody off, to tell them they can't do something.
But do you think in some instances you should be kinder while dealing with these young people?
No.
While commenting about the performances?
I am being very kind. I am being very kind when I'm being honest.
You do not think that these tender souls do sometimes do not understand it, see it the way you were explaining it to me, and can sometimes get heart and heart for life?
Oh, there are many who have been. But if you're determined, if you are after something, absolutely nothing will stand in your way. If you want something really badly, you will not stop at anything until you get it. But if you come across Ian who tells you, sorry, you can't do it, then you say, okay, and you decide to do something else, then definitely you are not ready. And when you get into the world will judge you even harsher than Judge Ian.
Shouldn't Ian, as a rational man, not sometimes understand that there are people who are not as hard-boiled as he is, and who will not take criticism the way Ian himself would, and bearing that in mind, sometimes tender his advice more tenderly and kindly and softly?
No. No.
Simple as that, no.
As simple as that, no.
What about, are there instances with hindsight that you look back and say to yourself, I don't think I should have made that comment?
No, I laugh at it. I am entertained by it.
Even when you realize you realize you shouldn't have made that comment.
Why shouldn't I have made that comment?
Mm-hmm.
You need to remember that all these are my opinion, Ian Bogwa's opinion. And I'm entitled to my opinion like everybody else. It's just that I'm given the platform and I'm honest enough to say exactly how I feel.
Is Ian a family man?
Yes, he is.
Father, husband?
I'm a husband and I've got 3 grown-up children.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
talking about these instances where, you've made some very public comments about people's performances, and because your children are probably the same age as these young people who come before you on stage and perform.
My youngest is going to be 18 this year.
Yes. Do they tell you, Dad? I mean,
of course.
Come on.
They are even harsher than I am.
In one of them moving in the trajectory that you are in, performing arts and theatre, and
yes, there. Two of them are in music, in church. My youngest one plays drums, plays piano, sings, and is a producer. Is learning to be a producer.
Right. Finally, as a closing remark, I want you to close with this. I'm going back to that comment you made about glamour and looking at end product. But I want to ask you finally, should a young person walking up to the theatre scene have money in mind?
No, absolutely not. If that's what they have in mind, then they will be very quickly discouraged and disappointed. What I tell them to do, because we are not at the stage where the arts will pay all your bills, I tell them, get a good education. Continue with your singing, your acting as a hobby. But don't think about going into it full time right now, because you are going to fail.
Ian Bogwa, thank you for coming on Spotlight. Asante sana.
Asante.
Thespian, singer, and talent search Judge Ian Bogwa, or simply Judge Ian as is popularly known. We thank him for sharing his story with us. Next on Spotlight.
Yeah, that was my first attempt, and I went without using a penny. And none of my campaign in my life I've ever used more than 100,000 shillings in my life. Never. Mm-hmm. Even when I was campaigning for the mayorship. Even when I was campaigning for the deputy mayorship. Even when I was campaigning 3 times when I became the councillor 3 times in Zowani. Never. It is because of the things that you did for the people.
If you missed part or all of this program, catch a repeat on Thursday night at 9:30. You can also listen to a podcast of this and past programs on Twitter at KBC English. My name is Geoffrey Mungai. Goodbye. From Mungai, goodbye.